perhaps even more disturbing tonight, a report out of Indiana. You may have seen this on The Factor. Wait until you hear where we're taking the story. The reports suggest that demons took over a family in their home.
And Megan, the comparisons to the Amityville are notable because it was just days after the Ammon family moved into their house. They say the horror began, the black flies swarming, children being levitated, shadowy figures pacing the house. Here's the mother. Listen.
And I saw one like coming into full image. It was coming out of my closet. I've never seen it like that before. I would see the shadows, you know, but I've never seen it like how I'm looking at you and you're looking at me.
The family sought help, but between the horror stories, the kids missing school and being injured, the family, doctor and child services got involved, with child services pointing the finger at mom, writing, quote, they believe the mother may have mental health concerns. They believe the children are performing for the mother and that she's encouraging the behavior. Then child services witnessed something that changed their view. The 9-year-old boy thrown against the wall with no one touching him. Then they write, quote, he had a weird grin on his face and began to walk backwards while the grandmother was holding his hand. He walked up the wall backwards. He flipped over and landed on his feet in front of the grandmother and sat down in the chair. Police also thought the story was a hoax until they went to the house and saw blinds dripping with oil and water where there was no source, and a mysterious figure in a window when no one was home. 37-year police veteran Captain Charles Austin saying, quote, every one of us who was there that day in the basement and who saw what we saw, we all think the same. We call it the same. That bit of dirt is a portal to hell. The family called a local priest, Father Michael Maginot, who was convinced demons had possessed the mother. He tried to contact the demons through 3 exorcisms. Here's the priest.
It was pretty much without incident until we get to the part of your name, and you asked for its name. Now, so far she's always been silent. So, and I says, is your name whatever? And then all of a sudden she started convulsing and such. So now once you have a name, you kind of attack it.
And after she convulsed, he believes the exorcism in the end was successful. Megan.
Stanford rapist Brock Turner got off easy with a 6-month jail sentence, but he still saw at least one severe punishment, a good old-fashioned hex. A self-identified witch organized a mass hexing for the former Stanford swimmer, whose lenient sentence for raping an unconscious woman at a party sparked national outrage. Melanie Elizabeth Hexon prepped for the cursed event on social media. You will need a solid black candle, his photo, a black string, and a spell I will share on Facebook, the hex leader wrote on Facebook. Several posted pictures of their household hexes, including pictures of Turner's mugshot going up in flames. The hex happened Tuesday night and include phrases like, sleep will only bring nightmares, and you will meet justice. Turner received his short sentence despite being convicted of felony rape and lying about his history of substance abuse to the judge.
In a visions of a man in black trying to kill them. Video footage shows children aged between 11 and 14 who are barely conscious, repeatedly screaming, and who appear to be delirious. In what has been described as a mass case of demonic possession, the pupils in Peru are experiencing seizures alongside their horrifying hallucinations. Experts have struggled to explain the strange occurrence, which also include widespread convulsions and fainting at the school. Locals believe this is a case of demonic interference, saying some children must have played games that invoke demons, such as using a Ouija board. Many religious organizations have warned against using the boards, saying that they can lead to demonic possession.
A home in Hanover, York County will be featured on a national TV show tomorrow. The homeowners say they're living in the middle of a violent haunting. So Fox 43's Katie Kairos took the tour. And Katie, you weren't exactly prepared for what you saw.
No, I had no idea what to expect. And I know a lot of people don't believe in this stuff, but you can take a look at what happened to us inside the house and decide for yourself.
This home looks quiet from the outside, but owner Deanna Simpson says several ghosts are haunting it, and she's caught them in photos and recordings, including this one.
The majority are bad, dark forces, unhuman.
Just a couple minutes into the interview, our photojournalist, Nick, felt his wrist burning.
Are you okay? Did you get scratched?
He was behind the camera, but Simpson knew what had happened right away.
Oh my gosh.
He'd been scratched. Simpson says it's happened to her, her husband, and friends many times before.
That's unbelievable. God bless you. You know why? Because you're telling the story. Yeah. Because you're putting it out there. Because they don't want, that is their, I'm just telling you right now, that is their way of a warning.
She took us on a tour of the house. She shot video of this door.
If that is you, would you please shut that door? Oh my God.
It appears to close on its own.
You want to scare me so bad? Show me. Shut that door. Go ahead, shut that door. Oh my gosh, I about fell to my knees. I trembled because as soon as I said it, you never think that's going to happen.
Simpson says she often sees orbs on this stairway behind the door. It leads up to the master bedroom.
This determines whether I sleep upstairs or downstairs.
This part of the master bedroom and bathroom is an area where we've seen a lot of activity so far, and both Simpson and her cat have been pushed down these stairs before.
While we stood at the top of the stairs, Simpson recorded on her cell phone camera. She was hoping it would catch orbs, but it shows something else too. It looks like a hand.
Oh, what? Mine, did you see that?
Simpson says it looks like someone she's seen before, and it's not a ghost, it's a demon. It's been seen in the basement.
When it came on me, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't scream, I couldn't move.
So far in this house, Nick has been scratched, I've been touched and pinched. We've seen strange lights on the walls and heard noises, and we haven't even gone down to the basement yet. Where is the place where you saw the Shadow Man picture?
This photo was taken with a deer camera in the basement.
This picture right here is the Shadow Man. He's about 7 foot tall.
Simpson says she's scared by what's happened, but she and her husband have lived in this home for 7 years. Her grown daughters refuse to stay here.
We put everything into this house.
Meanwhile, the family has invited mediums, researchers, and priests to visit the home. Simpson says there's a history of grisly deaths in the house.
I have to prove to people our life, so that way they'd understand.
Whatever you think, we weren't in a hurry to come back anytime soon.
Okay, that is bizarre. It is. This is our videographer, Nick Petrillo, who shot that, and you're serious. You actually got scratched.
I did get scratched. Basically, when we walked in the home, I didn't feel anything at first. And then as soon as we sat down and I was shooting the interview with Katie, I felt it was something like a piece of hot metal almost. It was really strange. I'd never felt anything like that before. And then I looked down on my wrist and I noticed there was a scratch there. I wasn't going to say anything at first. And then Deanna asked me, are you okay? Did you get scratched? And then I admitted, I noticed that I was like, yeah, this actually happened. I've never felt anything like that in my life.
Did you believe in ghosts and demons prior to this happening?
I liked watching the shows, but
Okay.
I actually didn't really believe in it until this actually happened. I was very skeptical until this.
And so, has your opinion on it changed as well? Well, I mean, both of you.
Yes. I didn't think anything would happen in this home. I mean, we brought a Ouija board because I thought we'd have to bring it in and see if anything happened. And Deanna didn't even want us to bring it in the door. She thought it would be, it's just dangerous with what's going on in her house. And now, I mean, there were just things that we can't explain that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she has a lot of photos of people with scratches that had been in her house before, but I never thought that was going to happen when we went inside the home.
I don't know much, but I do know for sure that I lost my virginity to an extraterrestrial woman. My first encounter was when I was 8 years old, and I've been having them ever since. There were the Greys, the little hairy guy, an insect being, and then there was Crescent. They came into my bedroom and we flowed up. His eyes overpowered. You hurt me, you hurt me. I just lay down on the ground and she gets on top of me. Yes, it's real. No, it's not. It's just a drink. After I had done my first painting, I felt better. It was just a relief to get the images down on the canvas.
Four, succubus. Probably the most well-known sex demon, the succubus is a female demon who takes the form of an attractive seductress in order to seduce men. In medieval European lore, succubi appeared to men in the night and seduced them into sexual encounters. It is said that the succubi could suck the life force out of men, leaving them exhausted or even killing them. Incubus. Incubus is basically the male version of succubus. Like his female counterpart, the incubus will drain the strength and life energy from his victims. Unlike the succubus, the incubus will impregnate his victims with another incubus.
A baffling and beautiful rescue, raising questions about the power of prayer. People are scouring nearly 70 photographs looking for some sign of a man they swear they saw at the scene of a car accident. He prayed, a life was saved. So why did he disappear, even from the photos? ABC's David Muir now on Faith and a Mystery tonight.
Tonight it's being called the Missouri Miracle. Much of it, though, still a mystery. A teenager with a beautiful smile, 19-year-old Katie Lentz, trapped in her mangled car, hit by a drunk driver, and first responders trying to get her out. Sheriff's Deputy Richard Adair won't forget when the fire chief turned to him in despair.
He was concerned because he was out of options. The tools weren't working, and it was, by that time, I said almost an hour. He said, I don't know how we're going to get her out. And I said, Raymond, I promised her mother and her that we get her out.
While inside that car, Katie had one request: to pray with the rescuers out loud. And then suddenly, right there amidst the rows of corn, at the scene blocked off for nearly a mile, a man appears.
He was dressed in a black priest shirt with a white collar.
And the rescuers notice something else. He was carrying a small bottle.
He had a small little white container of anointment oil, is what it appeared to be.
And he asked if he could anoint the girl in the car. And at first, my first thought was that it would possibly send the wrong message to Katie, that maybe we had called a priest.
But they allow him to do it.
A sense of calmness come over her then, even more so than what she had been already. I can't be for certain who said or how it was said or where it come from. We very plainly heard that we should remain calm, that our tools would now work, and that we would get her out of that vehicle.
Moments later, it happened. A neighboring fire department arrives with a new set of stronger tools, finally able to cut through that frame. They all turned to thank the priest, but he was gone. In fact, in all of those photos at the scene, no sign of the priest. And tonight, family and friends are grateful.
Whether it was just a priest as an angel, serving as an angel, or an actual angel that came in, he was an angel to all those and to Katie.
The fire department's Facebook page tonight filling up fast. Do any of the responders know who the priest was that seemingly appeared out of nowhere? I would love to shake his hand. And tonight, from Katie's mother, a message too. Very pleased that Katie's near-tragic accident provides proof to all that miracles still happen. Her mother adding, please continue to pray for her, and in Katie's words, pray out loud.
Pray out loud. And today we reached out to 15 churches within 30 miles of that accident scene. No one could tell us who the man was. And as for Katie, 6.5 hours of surgery, many broken bones, but her mother says her face and that beautiful smile untouched. Diane, everyone at that rescue scene touched by that stranger.
And dozens of people saw him, and yet nothing in the photographs.
Nothing, just the story of that white bottle.
What an amazing story. Thank you, David.